FIA has sparked controversy by announcing further penalties for Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri following horrifying incident at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton made headlines by overtaking George Russell on a final lap in Abu Dhabi and expressing his excitement to drive Ferrari in the 2025 season. Red Bull has reached a decision on Sergio Perez's future following deliberations at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Welcome to F1 Real Time. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Starting from 4th on the grid at the Yas Marina circuit, Max Verstappen's determination to make an early impact in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix led to a dramatic clash with Oscar Piastri at Turn 1. The incident, which saw both drivers spinning out, resulted in penalties for the reigning world champion and stirred controversy both on and off the track. Verstappen launched off the line with his signature aggression, attempting to dive up the inside of Piastri at the first corner. However, the Red Bull driver misjudged the closing gap and clipped the McLaren, causing both cars to spin and lose valuable positions. Car 1 attempted to overtake Car 81 on the inside into Turn 1 but never got far enough alongside, the stewards noted in their official statement. Both cars collided shortly after the apex. The driver of Car 1 was wholly at fault and caused the collision. For his role in the incident, Verstappen was handed a 10-second penalty, served during his pit stop, and received 2 penalty points on his super license. This brings his tally to 8 penalty points over a 12-month rolling period, edging him closer to the 12-point threshold that triggers an automatic one-race ban, a fate that befell Kevin Magnussen earlier this season. Piastri, clearly unimpressed, offered a sarcastic assessment of the maneuver. "A move of a world champion," he quipped, as he recovered from the incident to continue his race. Known for his outspoken nature, Verstappen dismissed the steward's decision with characteristic defiance. On the team radio, he labeled them stupid idiots, and later downplayed the significance of the penalty points in post-race interviews. "Maybe I'll reach 12 when the baby is born," Verstappen joked, referring to his girlfriend Kelly Piquet's pregnancy. Paternity leave sounds good. Piastri's own race was not without further incident. The Australian rookie was penalized for rear-ending Franco Colapinto on the approach to Turn 6, an error attributed to late braking. He was handed 2 penalty points, bringing his total to 6, along with a time penalty served during the race. Valtteri Bottas also found himself embroiled in controversy in what might have been his final Formula One outing. The Finn collided first with Sergio Perez and later with Kevin Magnussen, ultimately retiring from the race after the second incident. For the clash with Magnussen, Bottas was issued a 5-place grid penalty for his next Grand Prix, should he participate in one, alongside 3 penalty points on his super license, raising his tally to 5. Car 77 was on the inside of Car 20 on the approach to Turn 6, misjudged his braking significantly, and collided with Car 20, the steward's report stated. As Car 77 retired, the grid drop is warranted as the equivalent of a drive-through penalty. Reflecting on his difficult race, Bottas said, "Unfortunately, today felt like a downward spiral after the incident on lap 1, for which I also received a penalty. Later in the race, I locked up on old tires and bumped into Kevin. That was my mistake, and it's a shame my last race with the team ended this way." If Bottas' Abu Dhabi race proves to be his swan song, he will join a short list of drivers, including Jenson Button, who retired with penalties that remain unserved. Whether the Finn returns to the grid or moves on to new ventures, his tumultuous final outing in Formula One will be remembered as a dramatic end to an illustrious career. Meanwhile, for Lewis Hamilton, 2024 was a year like no other. It began with an unexpected and emotionally charged announcement. The 7-time world champion would be leaving the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team at the end of the season to join Ferrari in 2025. This revelation, made before a single car had turned a wheel in anger, set the tone for what would become a roller coaster season both on and off the track. In his final race with Mercedes at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Hamilton delivered a performance that encapsulated his brilliance, resilience, and flair for the dramatic. On the very last lap, he executed a daring maneuver to overtake his teammate George Russell, sealing 4th place and closing his Mercedes chapter on a high. Reflecting on his season during the post-race press conference, Hamilton described 2024 as probably the longest year of my life. The early announcement of his Ferrari move brought a unique set of challenges. It's like a relationship. When you've told whoever your counterpart is that you're leaving, but you're still living together for a whole year. Lots of ups and downs emotionally, but we finished on a high today. While the decision to leave Mercedes was undoubtedly a calculated step in his career, the timing added a layer of complexity. The Brackley-based team struggled with their car's performance in the early stages of the season, leaving Hamilton in a state of limbo. Yet, his characteristic determination saw him weather the storm, producing moments of brilliance amidst the turbulence. Hamilton's final race weekend was anything but smooth sailing. A mistake in qualifying saw him run over a bollard, resulting in an early elimination in Q1 and relegating him to start from the back of the grid. It was a humbling moment for the man who has spent much of his career at the sharp end of the pack. Undeterred, Hamilton mounted a remarkable comeback. Through a combination of strategic brilliance, opportunistic overtakes, and unyielding pace, he clawed his way up the order. By the closing stages of the race, he found himself in fifth place, 14 seconds behind Russell. With the laps ticking away, many assumed he would settle for a respectable finish. But settling has never been in Hamilton's vocabulary. As the final lap began, Hamilton was within striking distance of Russell. Describing the intense closing moments, he said, "George was driving great. He started much further ahead than I did, so catching him was tough. It took perfection. I had to put together the best laps I could possibly do." Hamilton's determination paid off as he lined up an audacious move in the final corners. It was a calculated risk, executed with the precision and confidence that have defined his career. "I only caught him right at the last lap, and I thought, it's now or never. So I just went for it." The move was a fitting farewell to the team with whom he has shared countless victories, championships, and unforgettable moments. Hamilton's pass on Russell not only secured fourth place, but also served as a poignant reminder of the relentless spirit that has made him one of the sport's all-time greats. Meanwhile, with the conclusion of the 2024 Formula One season, Red Bull Racing and Sergio Perez have entered discussions regarding the Mexican driver's future. Speculation has been rife that Perez will depart the team's driver lineup, though the exact terms of his exit remain undecided. Red Bull's preference appears to be a dignified parting, offering Perez a role as a driver ambassador akin to the position held by David Coulthard since his retirement in 2008. Team principal Christian Horner hinted as much during the Qatar Grand Prix, urging Perez to come to his own conclusions rather than let the situation devolve into acrimony. Until the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Perez had steadfastly maintained that he had a valid contract for 2025 and ruled out resigning voluntarily. However, following his lap 1 retirement in Abu Dhabi, Perez acknowledged for the first time that discussions about his position were underway, effectively admitting that his future with Red Bull is in jeopardy. Speaking to the media after the race, Horner emphasized that talks would remain private until a resolution is reached. Obviously, those discussions will happen between Checo and the team. Now we've got the season out of the way, we'll sit down with him, reflect on the season, and obviously, where it's gone wrong. Collectively, we will work out what is the right and appropriate way forward. Checo has been a great servant of this team. Thinking back to this race in 2021, the contribution that he made, the 2022 and 23 Constructors' World Championships, 5 race victories, second in last year's Drivers' Championship. He's done an awful lot for this team. The team is expected to make a decision early in the offseason, with both Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda from Red Bull's Visa Cash App RB program considered as potential replacements. Horner stressed, however, that there is no immediate rush to finalize the lineup. All the permutations are available to us internally. So I think the first thing is to sit down with Checo and have that conversation now that the season is completed.